Hello, beautiful beings. Welcome back to my channel. So, we're going to be reading chapter 3 of Prayer, the Art of Believing by Neville Goddard. So, let's begin so the video doesn't get too long and I don't ramble too much. So, chapter 3 is called Imagination and Faith. And it says, prayers are not successfully made unless there is rapport between the conscious and subconscious mind of the operator. This is done through imagination and faith. By the power of imagination, all men, certainly imaginative men, are forever casting forth enchantments. And all men, specifically unimaginative men, are continuously passing under their power. Can we ever be certain that it was not our mother, while darning our socks, who began that subtle change in our minds? If I can unintentionally cast an enchantment over persons, there is no reason to doubt that I am able to cast intentionally a far stronger enchantment. Let me read that again. If I can unintentionally cast an enchantment over persons, there is no reason to doubt that I am able to cast intentionally a far stronger enchantment. Everything that can be seen, touched, explained, argued over is to the imaginative man nothing more than a means or functions. Was that what it said? Then a means, for he functions by reason of his controlled imagination in the deep of himself, where every idea exists in itself and not in relation to something else. In him there is no need for the restraints of reason. Imagination creates reality. Everything that you can possibly imagine can be attained, can be manifested. If it wasn't possible for you to manifest something, you wouldn't get the desire for it. For the only restraint he can obey is the mysterious instinct that teaches him to eliminate all moods other than the mood of the fulfilled desire. One of the reasons why we do self-love and self-concept so much, because you want to have the mood of being a person that is loved and wanted, for you to get to your fulfilled desire of being loved and wanted. Imagination and faith are the only faculties of the mind needed to create objective conditions. The faith required for the successful operation of the law of consciousness is a purely subjective faith. It is attainable upon the cessation of active opposition on the part of the objective mind of the operator. What does that mean? It means that the faith required for you to successfully get your manifestation is just the cessation or the stopping of any moods or any thoughts that go against what you want to manifest. Okay. It depends on your ability to feel and accept as true what your objective senses deny. Neither the passivity of the subject nor his conscious agreement with your suggestion is necessary. For without his consent or knowledge, he can be given a subjective order which he must objectively express. It is a fundamental law of consciousness that by telepathy we can immediate communion with another. That's why I mentioned a few videos back that if you miss your person, you can just be with your person in imagination. You can talk to them in imagination, and they are constantly receiving all of this information from you. And it says here, you do all of this without their consent and without their knowledge, because it goes through telepathy. And this is for everyone. Excuse me. I feel like this little passage is very strong. Let me read a little bit of it again. Neither the passivity of the subject nor his conscious agreement with your suggestion is necessary, for without his consent or knowledge he can be given a subjective order which he must objectively express. To establish rapport, you call the subject mentally. Focus your attention on him and mentally shout his name, just as you would to attract the attention of anyone. Imagine that he answered and mentally hear his voice. Represent him to yourself inwardly in the state you want him to obtain. Then imagine that he is telling you in the tones of ordinary conversation what you want to hear. Mentally answer him. Tell him of your joy in witnessing his good fortune. Having mentally heard with all the distinctness of reality that which you wanted to hear, and having thrilled to the news heard, return to objective consciousness. Your subjective conversation must awaken what it affirmed. So if you were to want to help a family member, if you would want to help your partner in something, because this can be used for anything, not just getting a specific person, you would just bring your person to your third eye, to your center, call them by their name, shout them in your mind. Imagine that they answer you and mentally hear them tell you what you want them to say to you. And then rejoice in the good fortune of what he just told you. And your subjective conversation must awaken what it was affirmed. Thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee. It is not a strong will that sends the subjective word on its mission, so much as it is clear thinking and feeling the truth of the state affirmed. When belief and will are in conflict, belief invariably wins. And I think this is very important to explain. It is not a strong will that sends a subjective word on its mission, so much as it is clear thinking and feeling the truth of the state affirmed. When belief and will are in conflict, belief invariably wins, which is why it's so important for you to work on changing those limiting beliefs that hold you back. Because if you don't have the positive beliefs in place, and if you don't have the belief in yourself in place, then your will is going against your belief. And if your negative beliefs are still in place, your negative beliefs are going to win. So that's why you do both things as a balance. You work on your self-love, on your self-concept, shifting those beliefs around while you're working on your manifestation, because the beliefs is what's going to sustain your manifestation here. You get it now? So, yeah. Not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, said the Lord of hosts. It is not what you want that you attract. You attract what you believe to be true. Therefore, get into the spirit of these mental conversations and give them the same degree of reality that you would a telephone conversation. If thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. Therefore I say unto you, what things soever you desire, when you pray, believe that you receive them, and you shall receive them. The acceptance of the end wills the means, and the wisest reflection cannot devise more effective means than those which are willed by the acceptance of the end. Mentally talk to your friends as though your desires for them were already realized. Oh, where is that line? The acceptance of the end wills the means. That's why you always start at the end. The end, the acceptance of your wish fulfilled, is what sets everything up in motion for you. Imagination is the beginning of the growth of all forms, and faith is the substance out of which they are formed. By imagination, that which exists in latency or is asleep within the deep of consciousness is awakened and is given form. The cures attributed to the influence of certain medicines, relics, and places are the effects of imagination and faith. The curative power is not in the spirit that is in them. It is in the spirit in which they are accepted. The letter killeth, but the spirit giveth life. So he says here that the cures that we have attributed to, the medicine that we take. Oh, so the medicine cured me. Oh, so, doing this, what is that called? Doing this ritual or doing this, we believe that that is what cured us, when in reality it was the faith that we put in them that cured us. The subjective mind is completely controlled by suggestion. So whether the object of your faith be true or false, you will get the same result. Your subconscious mind does not care if it's true or false. It doesn't matter. If you impress the subconscious mind, you're going to get express. Whatever you impress, you're going to express. It doesn't matter if it's true or false. There is nothing unsound in the theory of medicine or in the claims of priesthood for their relics and holy places. The subjective mind of the patient accepts the suggestion of health conditioned on such states, and as soon as these conditions are met, proceeds to realize health. According to your faith, be it done unto you, for all things are possible to him that believed. Confident expectation of a state is the most potent means of bringing it about. The confident expectation of a cure does that which no medical treatment can accomplish. So you put your full faith onto that medicine, onto that ritual, onto that psychic, for example. And the psychic tells you, this is going to work. You do this, and this is the result you're going to get. And because you put your full faith on that, or the doctor telling you if you take these 10 medications, you're going to get better. You put the belief that taking these 10 medications are going to get you better. Is the belief about them that changes the chemistry in your body. Or in the psychic thing, is your belief in her or in them, or your faith in them or what they're telling you that brings forth the manifestation. So it's not so much what you did or what they said, it was your faith on that. Failure is always due to an antagonistic autosuggestion by the patient, arising from objective doubt of the power of medicine or relic, or from doubt of the truth of the theory. So the only way that you won't get your manifestation is from an antagonistic autosuggestion. So an autosuggestion is, this is not going to work. You know, when has this worked before? This is not going to work. Or why, I can't seem to understand why this would work for me. Nothing ever works for me. That type of stuff will negate your manifestation. Many of us, either from too little emotion or too much intellect, both of which are stumbling blocks in the way or prayer, cannot believe that which our senses deny. To force ourselves to believe will end in greater doubt. To avoid such counter suggestions, the patient should be unaware objectively of the suggestions which are made to him. The most effective method of healing or influencing the behavior of others consists in what is known as the silent or absent treatment, when the subject is unaware objectively of the suggestion given him. There is no possibility of him setting up an antagonistic belief. So that is interesting. So it says that when you are so stuck in believing only what your five senses tell you, and are not unaware, and are resistant to trying to understand that you can believe in something that is unseen, the best way for you to go about it is for the suggestion to be done for you without you being conscious of it. It is not necessary that the patient know objectively that anything is being done for him. From what is known of the subjective and objective processes of reasoning, it is better that he should not know objectively of that which is being done for him. For example, if you have a sick parent that you know you cannot speak about this with them because they're not going to understand, they're going to be very resistant, you can just do this subjectively for them. Or your person. My person doesn't really, he believes in me believing on the work that I do. But if I were to tell him, let's do Ho'oponopono together, he's going to say no. So this is how you go about it. Which in another way is kind of like you're praying for them, because of what you're doing. You're praying for them, but you just know that you're praying in a different way. The more completely the objective mind is kept in ignorance of the suggestion, the better will the subjective mind perform its functions. The subject subconsciously accepts the suggestion and thinks he originates it, proving the truth of Spiceona's dictum that we know not the causes that determine our actions. The subconscious mind is the universal conductor which the operator modifies with his thoughts and feelings. Visible states are either the vibratory effects of subconscious vibrations within you, or they are vibratory causes of the corresponding vibrations within you. A disciplined man never permits them to be causes unless they awaken in him the desirable states of consciousness. With a knowledge of the law of reversibility, the disciplined man transforms his world by imagining and feeling only what is lovely and of good report. The beautiful idea he awakens within himself shall not fail to arouse its affinity in others. He knows the Savior of the world is not a man, but the manifestation that would save. Which means, if a man were to be sick, his Savior would be health. If a man were to be hungry, his Savior would be a meal. The sick, oh, he said the same thing after me. The sick man's Savior is health. The hungry man's is food. Okay, Neville. The thirsty man's Savior is water. He walks in the company of the Savior by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. He walks in the company of the Savior by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Whatsoever you desire, you go in imagination and you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Whatever you desire, construct a scene of the wish fulfilled, and live in that scene for as much as you can. That scene would be your Savior. By the law of reversibility, that all transformations of force are reversible, the energy or feeling awakened transforms itself into the state imagined. He never waits 4 months for the harvest. If in 4 months the harvest will awaken in him a state of joy, then inversely, the joy of harvest now will awaken the harvest now. Let me read that again. Neville could be so... He never waits 4 months for the harvest. If in 4 months the harvest will awaken in him a state of joy, then inversely, the joy of harvest now will awaken the harvest now. What does that mean? That means that the time that it takes for your manifestation to come through is not how long it takes for the manifestation to get here. It's how long it takes for you to accept that wish fulfilled. Does that make sense? So if I want to get married with my specific person and it takes me 4 months or longer to even believe that I could get that, if it takes me 4 months to get to a feeling state where that feels normal for me, where I feel good enough for it, where I feel loved enough for it, where I feel worthy enough for it. If it takes me 4 months for that, then that's how long the manifestation is going to take. But in reality, it's not the manifestation that takes time. It's the acceptance of the desire. So if it takes me 4 months for me to accept that idea, then as soon as I accept the idea, the manifestation immediately comes. Now is the acceptable time to give beauty for ashes, joy for mourning, praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that he might be glorified. Now is the time to give beauty for ashes, joy for mourning, and praise for the spirit of heaviness. Spend your time, or as long as you can, just living in your imagination, doing the things that make you happy. Detach from the painful things. Detach from the current negative circumstances and go live in the end in imagination. Focus on the good. Focus on the flowers. Focus on the divinity and unconditional love. And things will resolve themselves. That's the end of chapter 3. It was a little bit long. Let me know if you have any questions about what I read, or if you're reading ahead of me, then read chapter 4 and let me know any questions as well. As always, I am here for you. If you need help with coaching, getting your specific person, overcoming some limiting beliefs you might have, my information is in the description box below. I love you guys, and until next time, bye.